Well, Iowa has been what we call a red state, meaning Republican dominated, for the last election cycles, to the point where our entire delegation that serves in Washington, D.C. are Republican, and our entire statewide people who are elected statewide are Republican except for one. Both chambers of the Iowa House and Senate are Republican. Iowa is just about as Republican as you'll find in any state.
And could you tell us about the methodology of this particular poll?
Yes, what we do is want to collect data in a way that our data will reveal to us, without us making any assumptions, what the future electorate is going to look like. So we ask people to tell us whether they will definitely vote, probably vote, and so on. We only take them if they're a definite voter. And we will have balanced a bigger pool that represents the entire state by census data, so that when we pull out the likely voters, if older people are more likely to vote, they will show up in our data. We don't make any assumptions about what the future electorate looks like.
And the poll does show that women have partly driven some of this result in your poll. The gender gap is a big issue in this election, isn't it?
It is a big gap, and I'd point you additionally to the margin that Kamala Harris wins older women with. It's a 2-to-1 margin among women age 65 and over. And so there's obviously something going on here. Older people is who you want to appeal to because they're the most reliable voters. And Kamala Harris is doing very well with that group.
And what did this poll tell you about independent voters in Iowa?
Right. And independents in Iowa do sort of switch back and forth. In this poll, they are solidly behind Kamala Harris.
And Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he was still on the ballot in Iowa, wasn't he?
He is still on the ballot, so we still test him. And he's, I think, now at 3 percentage points. And there's a few percentage points in play. You'll note that neither of the major candidates gets to 50%. So there's still a little squishiness in what could actually happen come Tuesday.
That's interesting. And one of the respondents in your poll, they talked about abortion, didn't they? How much have those reproductive health issues come up in this polling?
Well, we know that among the people who are Democrats, the people who say they're supporting Kamala Harris, the issue they say they're thinking about most is democracy. At about half of them saying that's the most important thing. But then half of that, about 25% roughly, say abortion. And Iowa has one of the strictest abortion laws in place. It just went into effect over the summer. So it's a 6-week ban. After 6 weeks, you're not allowed to get an abortion in Iowa. And that may well have played a part in this. We don't have precise data in this poll to tell us more than that.
Right, and of course, Kamala Harris has made abortion a key issue on the campaign trail. I want to talk about one aspect of your poll that was rather favorable for Donald Trump, and it was enthusiasm for the candidate. Could you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yes. In fact, Donald Trump, since he really got into politics and running for office back in 2016, the enthusiasm factor was always remarkable, very strong for him. When we first tested Kamala Harris here in Iowa in this cycle, she had jumped in. She closed an 18-point gap that Trump had over Joe Biden to just 4 points. I'm sorry. She closed it by 14 points.
Right.
I need to say it that way. So it was 4 points. And she had the advantage, this is in September, on enthusiasm. That's dropped a little bit in this poll, but her enthusiasm numbers are nothing to complain too much about. It's just that Trump has returned to having the stronger number there.